All right, I want to give our praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Shah Bashem Kakodash. I want to give double honor to the Apostle Jim as well. Peace, blessings, salutation to Yakim, Yaquah tuning in, and you Israelite foreigners. It's your Shaquaka Rob, GMS Virginia, and we're going to make this lesson real quick. Going to show these two videos, Women's International Month, whatever the fuck you call it. It's funny ass shit. You know, more days. You know, they get 31 days, you know, so-called Black History Month, they get 28. But I'm just going to show these videos and then I'm going to close it with, you know, one scripture that comes to mind. You know, if anything comes later, you know, I'll bring forth. But I'm going to start with this video.
Now, kicking off Women's History Month on this March 1st, and we want to turn now to Nightline co-anchor Juju Chang, who's going to give us a little history lesson on how it all grew into the celebration we now know today.
It's March 1st, which marks the beginning of Women's History Month.
This is funny, you know, the first, you know, comments. Yeah. Yeah, so you see the comments, so people, you know, a little bit of people saying, you know, this is something very, you know, skeptical about this equality, and Esau's pushing this, look at it, remember to keep calm and respectful and to follow our community guidelines. But, what the hell is it for? Where are they now? Fix, toxic, whatever.
A month-long celebration to honor women's often overlooked contributions to American history, like those of Elizabeth Blackwell, the first woman.
Yeah, one thing I gotta say, it's like they just keyword it said America, women that contributed to America. Just like Kevin Samuel made a very good statement. These women can only be feminists in a first world country. Only here in America, and it's pretty much, well, America and, you know, Europe, they broadcast and promote women being the gatekeepers or the head, you know, the head and above men and over the men. And so pretty much the so-called white race. And what they usually, how Esau rules, because pretty much the elites, they rule in secrecy. You know, don't nobody know who they are, where they are. Pretty much you can't pinpoint them and you can't find them. But those men, those elite men that are ruling society, those men are creating. They run the society, and how they run the society is by complete confusion and turmoil, and by deceit and witchcraft and sorcery. So you don't see what's really going on, but this is all an agenda to throw society off balance. And this is how you control everything. You know, when you put women above and over, just like when you go into the account, Lord's Will, you know, I'm going to read First Ezra, I believe it's the 4th chapter, when it talks about how when Zerubbabel pretty much stated what takes kings down, and it tells you about the women, and he goes into the truth about women. And this society, you know, by the elites, this is what they're doing. They're promoting these women as if they're so free and giving them so much power. Why? Because they were off balance, set an off balance to the world. And eventually these women, due to their wickedness and their evilness and their stubbornness and their greed, they can easily, again, they don't know, really, women are stupid. They don't know what's going on. They just believe, you know, they got power and they can do what they want and they're free. But ultimately, their very minds are being controlled and guided, and you know, they're being deceived by the elites. So due to the control of the elites and these women being wicked, they will control these men. So pretty much the working class men that rule over the society. You know, it says men are pretty much going to be, you know, subject to one, you know, pussy or whatever. You know, these men are going to conform to these women. it's pretty much setting an off balance to the society, and pretty much these men will not override the system or see nothing's wrong with the system. So pretty much everybody will be subject to being controlled and being branded, being given the RFID chip. So, and pretty much the society will be all controlled underneath power by the elites, these Edomite elites, and nobody will pretty much fight or disobey their society. Well, they totally got this thing upside down because Yahweh Shah's coming back and the prophets are out there. So, hey, it's not going to happen. This is not going to last long. But I'm going to let this video continue to play.
To officially become a doctor in the United States in 1849. Sojourner Truth, Susan B. Anthony, and Elizabeth Cady Stanton, all leaders in the women's suffrage movement. And Harriet Tubman, who led hundreds of enslaved people to freedom. But what's the history behind Women's History Month? It all began in 1978 with only a week-long celebration. It was organized by the Sonoma County Commission on Women. The week of March 8th was selected to correspond with International Women's Day, which had been celebrated around the world on March 8th since 1911. The movement began to gain momentum, and the following year, other communities and school districts initiated their own celebrations of Women's History Week. Then in 1980, the National Women's History Project lobbied for national recognition, and they were heard. Because in February of that year, President Jimmy Carter issued the first proclamation, which declared the week of March 8th as National Women's History Week. 6 years later, the same organization petitioned for an expansion on the event, and in March of 1987, Congress passed Public Law 100-9, proclaiming March as Women's History Month. Now every March and all month long, we celebrate...
Yeah, I never knew that. I didn't know March was women's month. Queen of Heaven, my worship. It's all bullshit. I'm done with that one. I'm going to play this one.
The chicken sandwich war ain't over yet. Introducing Zaxby's new signature sandwich with a double hand-breaded filet, split-top bun, and Zax sauce, or new spicy Zax sauce. Only at Zaxby's.
To make change work for women's necessities. Yeah, man. The scripture talks about women should be keepers at home. But I'm going to let this let this video rock. And then I'm going to bring forth scripture and I'm going to end it. Jeremiah 31:22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. So that's what you see. This is very new. These women, like you see it, Women's Month. And they are empowering women. I mean, damn, how much fucking empowerment do you need? Scripture says, due to the wickedness of Eve, a woman's desire should be towards her husband. Let me see something. Keepers at home. Yeah, because that's, one of the thing about these women today, they want to be everywhere except in the goddamn house, doing their womanly duties. Let me see. Titus 2 and I'm start at verse 1. But speak thou the things which become sound doctrine, that the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith and charity and patience. It says, verse 3, the aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers. And, women play victim every damn day. And they throw out a lot of accusations towards men. Not giving too much wine. These women, that's their best friend. Actual wine drink. And then these philosophies, teachers of good things. And that's what they're not. That they may teach the young woman to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of Yahweh be not blasphemed. But as you see before in the videos, that in the YouTube video I just played, that's completely contrary, to what you see in these scriptures. And this again, they're throwing in the setting in off balance in the earth to pretty much, like I said, once you got a woman's mind, because let me get that. Let me see if I can find it. I think it's in Sirach. Yeah, here it is. Sirach 25:19. All wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman. Let the portion of a sinner fall upon her. So it shows you, so pretty much, majority of these women are wicked. And Esau, starting from the elites, the ruling class elites, Edomites, they have destroyed these women's minds. And pretty much what they're doing is they'll grab the most wickedest woman. Again, they get the lowest, the biggest, the fattest, the greasiest, the most nastiest. They get the so-called black woman, the so-called white woman, the so-called Native American, and then they'll get the so-called Latino and Hispanic bitch. And they give these women light to bring forth their shameless and their ways, and bring forth wickedness. And again, they give them the spotlight. They bring them all on TV to display wickedness. The majority, them having low self-esteem. They don't care. Pretty much, they want their way. Like you had that bitch. What is it? Ruth. What? I don't know the bitch name. Pretty much, the bitch that said ain't nothing going on but the rent. They have a fat bitch like that. Then they will, like I said, they will broadcast her to promote bullshit. So it offsets a balance of the world. And once you give these women power in the spotlight and give them pretty much the leeway, the license to promote wickedness, you give them power. And what happens is other women look towards them and looks towards that. Like you got Love and Hip Hop and all sorts of different other spinoffs, and they promote these women, and they broadcast shamelessness and bad behavior, unholy behavior, and the other women look towards it and look at that as if that's the way to go. And again, throughout generations and throughout these decades, wicked women have been given a spotlight to promote this bullshit. And then going into Zerubbabel again, how these are the same women that would destroy men and keep them in check and keep them in place, while these wicked Edomite elites run the world in pretty much in secrecy. And that's how they're pretty much rolling, controlling. Running the society. They're offsetting the balance which was here totally out of order, you know. Yeah, I think it was something else that I wanted to, another scripture that I wanted to bring forth, but I can't remember. But that's pretty much it. I'm going to close it out with them and say, Shalom, Lord's will. I was edified.